Hi, welcome to the Home Expo Podcast. I'm your host, Tammie Hartman, and we connect homeowners with the best home improvement specialists and provide insider knowledge for easier projects. For entrepreneurs in the home industry, juggling projects, clients, and vision is tough. Today's episode focuses on simplifying all that chaos and building a solid foundation for growth. I know that there's a lot of families out there that have family businesses. And I just interviewed somebody yesterday. It was two brothers that have their own business and they're entrepreneurs. So families are also coming together to try and have a business, right? A family business. I want to thank Emily Ransone, a certified EOS implementer, experienced entrepreneur, and author of Growth Junkies Unite, who joins us today. She has scaled multi-million-dollar businesses before becoming a coach, guiding leadership teams to solve issues, strengthen people, and achieve operational freedom. She's very candid and she has a very energetic approach, which makes her a sought after speaker and workshop facilitator. So, Emily, I want to thank you again for joining us on the podcast. We're so excited you're here.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your journey from running a large business to becoming an EOS implementer and author. And what is an EOS implementer for our listeners? What is that?
Right. I mean, oh my goodness, the three-letter acronyms out there in the world, too many. All right. So, many of us find ourselves, and your listeners included, in the situation where we are launched into an opportunity to own and run a business. And
Mm-hmm.
many of us didn't go to school for that, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Either we learned it through coming up through the family business, or we're kind of thrown into it, or promoted through career. And I was one of those. And
Mm-hmm.
so, early I was running a $13 million office furniture dealership in the Southwest, and found myself just grasping at ideas for how to run a better business and
Mm-hmm.
struggling. And
Yeah.
what I would do is I would throw workshops that I would attend or knowledge content at my team. And they lovingly said I workshopped them to death. So, it was like just casting a very wide net out there, hoping that something would stick.
Uh-huh.
And frankly, that's really no way to run a business.
Right.
So at the next step in my career, I found the opportunity to become co-owner of a $60 million office furniture dealership in the San Francisco Bay Area, and
Wow.
obviously jumped at the opportunity. And once again, found myself with two partners where we knew we wanted to reshape the vision from the founder that we were taking the business over from.
Mm-hmm.
And we just really weren't sure how to go about it and how to
Mm-hmm.
get our team all aligned and rowing in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, at that time, that's when I heard about EOS through a peer group,
Uh-huh.
and it changed my life. It started with, listening to a workshop and reading a couple of the books in the EOS library. And then we tried to what we call self implement, use the free tools ourselves and try to do it, and crashed and burned. I
Of
liken it
course.
to trying to fly an airplane. And oh, by the way, while you're flying the airplane, read the operations manual to learn how to fly the plane. And oh, by the way, let's just change it from a 747 to a Dreamliner while you're flying the plane. And that was the kind of chaos that we were in. I mean, we were doing all the wrong things. And I love to use ourselves as the example of what not to
Mm-hmm.
do and to save others that are struggling. That ability to measure twice and cut once, like do it
Mm-hmm.
more effectively. So I use
Right.
my examples of what not to do. And then,
Awesome.
as we got on our EOS journey, and I'll explain the three letters in a moment, we had such tremendous success within the first 2 years of the journey that we self-funded two startups out of that success.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it
amazing.
was an incredible ride, an incredible journey. And then we, not one to retire, we were looking for that kind of next gen, and it was my EOS implementer, the one that we had hired on our journey when we crashed and burned, who said, you're obviously really passionate about this work. Your friends are coming to you for advice.
Mm-hmm.
You could cause more harm than good. So
Mm-hmm.
go really get the formalized training and lean into this. Have some fun with it. And I have never looked back. I mean, I'm 7, 8 years into this, and I love what I get to do because I get to see people not only learn how to run a better business, but really become the best of who they can be for
Right.
their business, for their families, their community, etc. So it's a really purpose driven role
Mm-hmm.
that I'm now in, guiding these companies through their implementation of these tools and disciplines. And that brings me to, what is EOS?
Yeah,
It
what
is
is it?
yep, it is the Entrepreneurial Operating System. What does that mean? It means that it's a simple set of unique tools and disciplines
Mm-hmm.
packaged together that will help you do what I said earlier, which is measure twice, cut once,
Mm-hmm.
run your business cleaner, smoother, and be able to allow you to carve out some operational free time for your other passions.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us,
Wow.
that are these EOS implementers around the globe, and there's about 900 of us now, we are just super passionate about helping others get out from under that hamster on a treadmill feeling where you feel like the business owns you and you can't
Mm-hmm.
seem to find a better way forward. And, the hardest part about it is harnessing the power of human talent. That
Mm-hmm.
is the
Oh
biggest
yeah.
challenge out there. I would say out of the 6 key components of any business, any industry, it's the EOS model, these 6 key components that run your business. The people component
Mm-hmm.
is the most challenging because once you're able to get all those people rowing in the same direction and executing with that real discipline and accountability, guess what? Those other 5 components get easier and easier.
Yeah.
So, if we could just run our business from a private island, it'd probably be so much easier, but that's not reality. So here we are. So
Oh,
I'm
come on,
happy to,
why not?
I know. So I'm happy to dig in deeper, but I also want to come up for air for a moment. So that's EOS and that's my background.
Wow, that's wow. Um, so as an introduction to the EOS implementing, why should it matter for home improvement companies?
Yes.
I mean, why does it matter? I know that I had my own business as a bookkeeper, and most of my clients were contractors and doing a lot of job costing. And they have the mentality of build, 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 build. But what about all the admin stuff?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them don't want to manage all that. They
Right.
just want to make sure that their contractors are paid, they're paid, and their guys are paid, and the projects are running smoothly. So, um, what are like the 3 key reasons why it should matter to home
Yeah.
improvement
I
companies?
think any business has frustrations of some sort. It's
Mm-hmm.
people, it's process, it's profits. Usually those are kind of the 3 main drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And the issues can be a subset of one of those 3. And so we'll get people that come to us all the time that are just frustrated and they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's really the reality in, owning and running a business. And
Mm-hmm.
they can't seem to get out from under that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
They know there's a better way, but they can't figure out how to get there. And so to
Mm-hmm.
have this very simple set of tools, and these are available on the EOS website. We'll give that, I'm sure, in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
These tools are available to anyone. And it's simple things like how to run a really great meeting, how to have a really simple dashboard. We call it a scorecard, but something that you monitor day in, day out, week in, week out, so that you can predict your results and get out in front of
Mm-hmm.
troubleshooting before it becomes a bigger issue. It's things like how do you narrow your focus? The fewest things that are going to get you the most results. We call those rocks, thanks to Stephen Covey. And then simple things like how do you instill that real discipline and accountability so that your people are crystal clear, aligned, and all rowing in that same direction. So the
Mhm.
three things EOS delivers: vision, getting people aligned about where they're going, how they're going to get there; traction, delivering real results through those tools that I mentioned; and
Mhm.
healthy, meaning,
Wow.
we spend a lot of time at work, and why not have some fun while we're doing it, right? So one of my biggest roles in terms of what I get to do is help people come up for air and celebrate the things that
Yeah.
they miss along the way. Stop and smell the roses and really honor the strong work they're doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it also helps with work-life balance too.
100%.
I mean, I was getting some work done on my motorhome because I like to go camping in my motorhome, and the mechanic, he owns his own shop, and he's like, "Hey, can you come after 4:30 because I want to go see my kid play t-ball?" Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it an inconvenient for me? Was I going to be stuck in traffic on the way home? Yes, but because he had his own work-life balance, I'm able to honor that.
You
And I see,
understood his greater why, right?
yes. Yeah. And it's like, I really wish that more businesses would run like that because I mean, we're all just one big community
It's true.
trying to live life, not just survive it. And with a clear plan, I mean, in anything that we do, whether it's to go grocery shopping or clean our house or investments, pay our bills, spend time with friends, it's like we all need that balance and that foundation to move forward. I love that rowing forward thing
Well, I
that you
think,
mentioned.
what I find is that many companies want to offer that kind of flexibility.
Mhm.
And the challenge is there needs to be clear rules and boundaries. The fewer, the better. We say a handful of rules. But
Mhm.
if you want to provide that trust that everyone knows what everyone's supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
and we're all executing with that same discipline and accountability, then that trust becomes earned to where that flexibility becomes a benefit of that trust that's
Mhm.
built. But
Yeah.
a lot of times what ends up happening is the lines get squishy, they get blurred. And so then when someone wants flexibility and they don't know what it means, that this, who's doing what by when is the phrase that I love to use, but it gets squishy. And so then when they don't follow through on something, there ends up finger pointing. And we had that in our company. Absolutely. People would show up to the next meeting and it would be like, "Oh, I didn't know you needed that this week," or "I didn't know you were waiting for me on that." And so I quite literally instituted at the end of every single meeting, we are going to end with who's doing what by when, and
Mhm.
made up these plastic bracelets and had some fun with it. But truly, like, that was an Achilles heel for us. And when we started our EOS journey, I understood why EOS was built the way that it was. It was to provide real clarity around someone's role and
Mhm.
real understanding of those expectations so that it took it out of the gray and moved it into the black and white. People will rise to the occasion that you give them,
Mhm.
but a lot of times it's so murky that we don't know what set of rules we're playing by. So that
Yeah.
hopefully gets you to that flexibility of where you particularly, Tammie, would love to go. You know what I'm saying? So if
Mhm.
someone can gain a nugget from that conversation, hopefully that was time well spent.
Yes, absolutely. I know that in the home improvement industry, um, with what's going on with the world in the past few years, is supply and demand, workforce, people
Yes.
willing to work. And I mean, how do you identify and solve some of the issues effectively to overcome the challenges like supply delays or um, scope of work when things kind of go uh-oh.
Right. Right.
So how do you like walk through those issues and solve those effectively?
It's a great question, Tammie. One of the key skills that leadership teams learn, I work with several in the home improvement sector, design, remodel, those
Mhm.
sorts of things, construction. etc. And the common theme is we don't know how to solve these issues so that they don't keep reoccurring over and over
Mhm.
again. That ends up being so frustrating, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
so the idea is with a simple methodology that our founder, Gino Wickman, devised called the issue solving track. It's a series of three basic steps to teach leadership teams. And then once the leadership team really knows how to solve these issues at the
Mhm.
root, then
Mhm.
they can teach the rest of the people in the company how to also solve issues at their level. So what this does is it
Mm.
flips the script on the empowerment dynamic, meaning we
Oh,
are
okay.
pushing decision making down into the organization because they're going to understand how to solve issues at their level so
Mm.
that that leadership team doesn't have to get pulled into the weeds as much. This is what starts to help create that opportunity for operational freedom. It's
Okay. So
exciting.
it's,
So
I
the
mean, it,
simple methodology is this:
mhm.
the first thing you do, get those issues out of your head and down on paper.
Okay.
There's therapy in that. Just making that list,
Mhm.
there's
Mhm.
therapy there.
Okay.
And when we raise our hands and say, I have an issue or I see an issue here, we're celebrating that. We're not avoiding it, right? So we've got that issues list now. The next steps first, if everything's important, then nothing's important. So you've got to
Mhm.
prioritize that list. We say just pick the top three. And then
Mhm.
if you have more time in your weekly leadership meeting, then pick another three, right? But
Mhm.
start with that, prioritize.
Okay.
Then we move into stating the issue. State the issue in as few words as possible. I always say in 30 seconds to 1 minute, state the issue.
Okay.
Then you're going to go around the table and share ideas, kind of do a brainstorming. There might be 5, 6, 7 ways that we could solve this,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
we teach a series of what we call the 5 leadership abilities that help you move through how to ask these good questions during the discussion and how to bring everyone into focus so that that way you get to a better solve. That's the
Mhm.
third step. So identify, state the issue in 30
Mhm.
seconds to 1 minute, go around the table discussing options, right? And then move to solve. That move to solve is the critical step that so many miss. When you move to solve, it means somebody is taking ownership and taking an action step.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
the
and I
who's doing what by when.
mhm. Yeah, and I mean, someone who is on the lower corporate ladder could obviously help get their piece together to help the next level of management, and they get that together, and then they go on to leadership,
Exactly.
right?
We have so I have field-based teams that are working on the back of a truck, and they have their weekly stand-up huddle meeting at the back of the truck with a set of plans that are rolled out and the schedules and all those sorts of things, and they're having these styles of meetings just as like a stand-up meeting around the back of a truck. So when I get people pushing back saying, "Well, we can't roll this tool out to the field," I say,
Yes, you can.
is that a limiting belief that's keeping you from being
Mhm.
able to put your team at their best, to show them that you trust them and empower them to make better decisions by teaching them and training them on just a very simple methodology like this?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues that I have sometimes with the vendors at the Home Expo is that corporate sends out sales teams to these events.
Sure.
Doing sales in-house is different than doing sales on the floor.
Oh, 100%.
They sit, they talk on their phone, they don't greet every person that walks by, and then they wonder why they don't have a lot of leads.
Yes.
And it's like I try and coach them ahead of time, and after the show when I see somebody sitting in their booth and they're on their phone and I watch to see how many people walk by, I'll take a picture of that. This is why you don't have a lot of leads, and they do. I send it out in my newsletter. Hey, remember, heads up, you know
Here's
look at
what
the
you need to
person.
look for. Here's how you
Yes,
need to get
yes.
prepared.
Yeah,
Here's,
give them some
something that
tips,
you can
have some.
do as you're there in your booth to
Mhm.
bring people in, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's,
tips and tricks are important for that, for sure.
yep. Yep. Yeah. We do a Tip Tuesday, and that goes out in our newsletter. It goes out on our social media of what to do when you're at the Home Expo, and making sure that your booth always has somebody there. And, hopefully it'll help. We
The
can only
route
do
that I've
what we can.
seen with that is that a lot of times people that are in an inside sales position are really good about talking about product. They're more like a tech engineer. If you think about, they're really good at problem solving and troubleshooting and that sort of thing, but they're really not, their sweet spot isn't necessarily the meet and greet. That takes a different breed
Mm-hmm.
of human, doesn't it? So
Yes.
you need someone who's extroverted and who loves just being around people and is really engaging. And sometimes those two things are you need two different sets of people at these booths. You need one to
Yes.
go grab them and one to then be able to share the backstory of the product and why it works and the features and
Mhm.
benefits, those sorts of things. So,
Mhm.
that's where I see an epic fail when I go to these trade shows myself.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
came up through my career in sales, by the way, so that's probably why I'm speaking a little passionately about this.
yeah, you know what? To be honest, I miss being a vendor at shows. I
It's
like
fun.
having people come up to the booth, and I like talking to them, and I don't know. I'm a people person. I'm kind of shy if you think about it, but I'm really not when it comes to people.
You
Um
have that duality.
yes, yes. So I you talked about some workshops,
Yes.
and I wonder what tips you can share from your drop the ball workshop for saying no to distractions and focusing on what you do
Oh,
best.
it's
What
one
is
of
the
my
drop the ball?
favorites. I was so overwhelmed and overloaded early days in the EOS journey that it was let me describe it. I was working 60 and 70-hour weeks. I was lapping the Bay Area 2 to 3 times in a week, trying to be everything to everyone, going to our different locations, entertaining clients in the evenings, going to events, all those sorts of things. And, not to get overly personal, but no wonder I couldn't get pregnant. I was running
Mm,
myself ragged and I was stressed about our company. So of
yeah.
course I brought that stress into every aspect of my life. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, the drop the ball is based on a book by Tiffany Dufu, and it's a really great book. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And what I did was I took what she talks about in that book and I applied it with tools that you can use from EOS. And
Okay.
what we say in EOS is what I said earlier, if everything's important, then nothing's important. And
Mm-hmm.
so the EOS journey that we embark on with our clients is designed to help them simplify and narrow their focus. We call it the 20/80 approach. 20% of the things that get you 80% of the results.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is this great analogy from Stephen Covey. He sets up a visual um, demonstration. So he's got a table, then he's got a jar, and then he's got a pitcher of water, pebbles, sand, and
Yep.
rocks.
Yep.
Right? Everyone knows where this is going. I'll just get to the chase. If you'll start with the rocks, everything fits. So
Yep.
that's where we get the terminology of rocks. Basically, what rocks are 90-day priorities, 90-day chunkier projects or areas of focus for that quarter. And what we're
Okay.
doing is, as a leadership team, we are agreeing that this is going to be our focus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take these 3 to 4 priorities this quarter. You're going to take those, and we're all agreeing on our focus, right? Or doing a little horse trading if we need to. And then we're monitoring our progress week in, week out through a series of weekly leadership team meetings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we meet as a leadership team every single week to provide that backstop to keep us on track. And if you're not taking action on a rock every week, every other week, somewhere in that neighborhood, by the third week, if you have not taken action, that rock is off track. And you need to hold your hand up and say, you know what? We need to put this on the issues list. I'm overwhelmed, overloaded, and I need help. right?
Mhm.
And we as a leadership team should be able to maneuver things to take things off your plate and support you in bringing back that area of focus on that rock because we said it was the most important thing that has to get done. So this power of focus was massive for me. I jokingly say I was like a mountain goat climbing every mountain and never making it to base camp. I was so ineffective. I was like chasing all these shiny objects everywhere. Again, trying to be everything to everyone because I'm such a pleaser and I'm such a
Yeah.
perfectionist. And
We
so for
call it
me,
the bouncing ball syndrome.
yes, and that's why I love the title of her book, Drop the Ball, Do More of What Matters. Because truly,
Mhm.
if we will just narrow the focus and realize that if we take this 20/80 approach, it makes your life so much more simple.
Yes.
And then
Yes,
you
it
know what
does.
to say no to. And that can be the biggest challenge is that filter,
Mhm.
that decision filter. And
Mhm.
when you are granted that kind of agreement with your leadership team on, yes, this is my narrow focus. And then you have that confidence to say no to other things. Man, it is liberating. I mean, it was a game
Mhm.
changer for me.
Oh, yeah. Um, so in your book, Growth Junkies Unite, which I absolutely love the title of it.
Yep, got it right here.
What are some, oh, that's awesome. What are some highlights that you can share with us? Like, I think one of them is why continuous learning is vital for entrepreneurs. I mean, everything is changing. How
Yes.
we do business, how we get noticed, how we use social media. Now AI is coming into place, and it's like people receive information differently. There's a shift in aging
Yeah,
where
true.
older people are not on social media and newer people are, and but they're not homeowners yet, and so there's like this in between. So I mean, what kind of learning um, topics can you suggest for entrepreneurs?
That's a great jumping off point for I wrote this book for me. I really did. I needed some quick inspiration. Look at how small this book is. It's something you can keep in your bag or your purse,
Oh.
and it's meant to be something while you're out and about and you have a moment where you just need some inspiration for whatever reason.
Hmm.
It's a great simple book. I wrote it for myself. There are bullet points and it's got three themes. The first, accountability, because frankly, we're nothing without it. If you do not do what you say you're going to do, uh, quite frankly, there is no trust. There is zero trust. And
Yes.
so this is a chance for you to check in with yourself and see how you're showing up. The
Hmm.
second section is about emotional intelligence, because if you cannot read the room, then it's really hard to get more of what you want out of an exchange. And there's a very simple tool that I highlight called social styles. This is another one of my workshops that I do. And social styles is such a great lens. I love every assessment. I've taken all of them. My issue is that either they're too complex or I don't know what to do with that information. I can't apply it to my life. For example, Myers-Briggs, I know I'm an ENTJ, but I'm really not sure what to do with that information.
Hmm.
Whereas social styles is around how you show up in the world, your lens, your filter for how you see the world and how you communicate, and then being able to see others, how they're showing up, to give communication in a language that reaches them. Let me give you an example. I'm a driver, and in running a team, I found that I was running all over amiables, expressives, because I didn't take time to slow down and hear their stories.
Hmm.
Or I didn't give the data points to an analytical, the background information that they needed to be on the same page with me about how we were making decisions.
Hmm.
Instead, I was like, I need this done by 5.
And they're
So
like,
I was seen as very
okay.
abrasive, right? I was seen as, I was, when I did this work, it was humble, a little bit
Hmm.
of humble pie in seeing how I was showing up. So this is a unique, simple, effective tool that you can use that's actually not EOS related, but I found was so foundational in me getting a better understanding of how I was carrying myself that was damaging the chance to get more of what I wanted out of these interactions. The
Yeah.
third section is servant leadership. Because frankly, leadership is not a title. You are not deemed worthy of being a leader. It is your choice. It is your choice. You choose it.
Huh.
And each person, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you have the ability to choose that level of how you carry yourself, that responsibility that you have. It
Mm-hmm.
is a choice. And I say lean into it. The world needs more people that are willing to lead by example, be the change you want to see in others. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit of a call to arms, if you will. And then some simple self-help tips on how to keep yourself sane and healthy,
Yes,
because we
yes.
all need that. We all need that. And then
Oh,
the best part is with the book, you get this companion toolkit, which is
oh,
great because it's got all my source material. It's got my top 10 TED Talks. It's got like all the books that I suggested. You asked me for that, and it's there. So
oh, that's
that's
awesome.
free. And I'm happy to put that link in the show notes as well.
Yes, we will absolutely have all the links to everything that's Emily's sharing with us so you can have all the information as well. Yeah, I noticed that building a business as an entrepreneur can be overwhelming. And when we are growing too fast, it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, how do you stay motivated with those?
Truly, that's where I was. And because of that, that is why I wrote this book. This is why I do the work I do now, because I feel like it is my responsibility. It is my honor. Honestly, it's such an honor to be in a place where I can give back to others. I
Mm-hmm.
know exactly how they're feeling when I'm working with my clients because I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
there. And so because I was a client first, I have a unique perspective in terms of really sharing with clients some shortcut tips,
Mm-hmm.
hack solutions, and then also, really the reality of things, right? Instead of sugarcoating it, let's really see what this issue is and look at it from different vantage points. So from my standpoint, it's why I'm geared so well in this role of, helping clients run a better business and why I love the work so much.
Yeah, and I also noticed that you also integrate volunteerism into your business,
Of course.
and there's the benefits of supporting others. So, what types of volunteering do you do?
That is the servant leadership aspect that has
Mm,
been vital to me, frankly, my whole life. And I really didn't understand that or why until maybe later in life. My feeling is if you're going to complain about something, you darn well better do something about it, right?
yes.
Whether that's, giving of your time or money or some combination, whatever that is for you. So, for example, homelessness is a big problem here in the Bay Area, huge problem.
Yes.
And it's
Mhm.
fairly widespread these days across the United States and in other countries as
Mhm.
well. And, in my humble opinion, like I can't complain about that, seeing that in my neighborhood if I'm not going to do something. So I started volunteering for Rebuilding Together, and found it was such a beautiful home for my heart. This is an organization that helps keep people safe in their homes, their existing homes, so they don't fall into homelessness. And
Okay.
Habitat is another version. That's new builds, right? Rebuilding Together is using their existing home and keeping them safe in their homes. It's things like they can't afford a new roof or grab bars or a ramp or, any of these sorts of things. And so Rebuilding Together is very near and dear to my heart. I ended up being on the board for 6 years. I still give of my time and money. I also am really a champion for leaders. And so I do a lot of free workshops for nonprofit organizations. There's one that's in the commercial real estate industry that I've developed something called the Leadership Development Cohort with
Mhm.
my co-pilot, Robert Teed. And he and I started this as just a labor of love as a means of giving a 9-month learning series where people in our commercial real estate industry could really lean into the opportunity if they didn't have it within their corporate structure or other, resources. This was a way to help them see, in again a 3-part series, how they could really learn to be a leader that that they can have a lot of humility and self-respect. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the journey there. And I love the work. I really do. So
Oh.
I also take on pro bono clients. I've
Mm-hmm.
got a husband and wife team that I am so blessed that I get to work with. They really needed some help, and frankly just didn't have daylight in front of them to afford anything. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I do with them is I give them the free tools, and then, I help shepherd them along on their journey through the session days that we do together.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to see their business come together. They got a really nice commercial client. They're residential, but they got a commercial grade client, and they're starting
Yay.
to see some traction. So it's really fun to be a part of that journey with them. And oh, by
Oh,
the
that's
way, help them through their
amazing.
marriage.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
we've all
I'm
been
sure.
there. We've all been there.
Yes, yes. Well, I know that, I'm very passionate about certain communities where I live, and one of them is trying to find housing solutions for the homeless or just have affordable housing in general. I know a lot of people are moving from the Bay Area to Sacramento, where I live, and there's a lot of new builds going up.
Yes.
There's apartments, and there's an area where they have like not tiny houses but just smaller houses on one lot. So a lot of the Bay Area people are coming here because it's too expensive.
I've
um,
seen them. I've got a number of clients out that way.
mhm,
And, in the Bay Area, what you see are those big mobile homes
mhm,
parked so that during the week they can work at, in the tech sector or whatever. And then they go home to, the outer lying areas, including Sacramento, to be with their
yeah,
families on the weekends. That's tough. That's
yeah,
tough on the
it's
families.
hard, and
Really
I think
hard.
that there's a lot more. Not a lot, but I think that some churches are having their parking lots available for people who live in their car
Yeah.
or live in their RV or their tiny home or whatever, just so they
Yeah.
have a place to park that's safe and free, if not affordable.
That's so
So,
lovely.
yeah, housing solutions is very much in my future as a real estate investor.
Mhm.
I'm learning all the ins and outs of that, to see if I can get something like that going. So I don't know. It's a
Smart.
passion project of mine, but yeah, I get it. I have some questions. What are some advice for homeowners on selecting contractors
Sure.
who have strong processes and values? How do they figure that out? Because anybody can go to Google or Yelp. And of course, I have contractors on my podcast where they can actually watch the podcast and really get a feel for that particular contractor. But how does a homeowner just sitting in their home, like typing on their computer, find those strong processes and values?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think, from the homeowner's perspective, uh, I do this a lot with clients that come to me and say, "Well, I'd love to work with you, but I need to understand more about you." And I always say, instead of hearing it from me, why don't you hear it from other clients that have worked with me? So
Mm-hmm.
I think those testimonials and referrals are really, really vital to a homeowner that's trying to make that decision filter. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing for a homeowner is to get really clear about what are the most important aspects of the decision making for them. Is it schedule? Is it budget? Is it the ability to make decisions together? Or what are those decision filters? And then make sure that you're kind of looking at it from a standpoint of kind of creating a spreadsheet where you can grade that as you're assessing different contractors. So I think from the standpoint of testimonials, decision filters, right? So that you take it from the gut and move it to something that you can measure. I always say trust your gut for sure, but
Yes.
verify, right? Against data points, right? So how do
Uh-huh.
you create those data points? Well, create a scale, put it down on paper, and really do that kind of assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And that some of those things I think are unique to the individual homeowner. They have to really drive that decision making. And if they've never done it before, go to other homeowners that have done it and ask, how did you approach this project? How did you approach making your decision? What was important to you? I've actually been doing that myself with some friends because we're considering a little casita out back, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to friends that have done that and saying, okay, how did you approach it? How long did permitting take? How did you assess the contractors that you interviewed? Right. So that's what I'm doing. So hopefully that helps your homeowners.
Yeah, I have been in the process of building an ADU in my backyard for 3 years now.
Yeah.
I had a contractor and I signed the contract but didn't give them any money, and they went under. And I mean, because I am in the ADU space, I have a number of contractors that I absolutely love. So it's a matter of I don't know which one to pick because they're all
They're all fabulous.
fabulous. So it's like I don't know what to do. But there was an issue in Sacramento where it was taking like 6 months to a year just for permitting.
Oh,
And
that's here.
yeah,
That's here for
well,
sure.
in Sacramento, they have to get the permits out in 60 days.
Bravo, Sacramento.
Yes. Yeah, in 60 days.
Amazing.
So, yeah, that was the biggest factor with me is like, why am I going to pay a mortgage on a house that it's not even built yet?
For
But,
sure.
now I'm kind of narrowing it down because the thing that is most important to me is time
Mm,
and cost.
sure.
Just time and cost. And the time is, how quickly are you going to be able to build it once we get the permits? And when can I move in?
Mm.
So,
To that end, Tammie, one of the things that I love, whether you're interviewing a contractor or you're interviewing a prospective team member,
mhm.
interview using negative scenario based questions. Let me give you an example. Tell me a time when the schedule went off track.
Oh, that's right.
What'd you do to get it back on track?
Mhm.
Tell me your worst situation. What brought that situation around? Like, what happened that got that situation there? And then how did you get out of it? I want to hear your worst,
Oh, I don't
right?
know if I want to hear that.
I think you do, because in my opinion, the proof is stuff goes sideways. That's just the
Yes.
nature of being human.
Yes.
And what's
Yeah.
important is, what did they do when that happened? And if you
Mhm.
ask that several different ways, they can't game the answer as much. And
Okay.
then I would say, hey, I want to talk to that client. I
Mhm.
want you to put me in touch with that client. Did they end happy with you?
Hmm.
Right? So there's some ways that you can get at that on a deeper level if you want to. If you want to,
Yeah. Well, I mean, word of mouth is the best advertising.
for sure.
When I
Still,
started
still
my
is.
when I started my business, I didn't there Facebook didn't exist.
Hmm.
Instagram didn't exist. We had Craigslist. And I would get one client from Craigslist and then I would get referrals from them.
Yes,
And I mean, that is the best type of advertising. So, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Referrals are the holy grail for any
Yeah.
business in any industry.
Yes. Um, Emily, I really want to thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing your wealth of information on how important it is to have a plan and a coach and some goals.
My
And
sincere
how,
pleasure.
yes, and how can we access the free tools, the free EOS tools? How do
Yeah,
we
so
do that?
those are on eosworldwide.com. So eosworldwide.com. That's
Okay.
simple. You can
Okay.
go there, and through clicking around, you can kind of start to get access. They're on a link that's called EOS Academy. That's where you can unlock free tools, and then the deeper tools are also there. Those are on a subscription basis.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also a whole library of different books on specific topics. There's one for each of the 6 key components. There's a book called Traction that is the business Bible. It's seen as such
Oh.
in entrepreneurial business. So, if anyone would like a free 90-minute workshop with me, you get the book Traction as my thank you. So please feel free to reach out to me and we can get that scheduled.
Ooh, I might have to do that.
Would be my pleasure. It would be my sincere pleasure. For me, it's such a way that I can give back to
Yeah.
others and get them on the right path. And
Mhm.
me giving 90 minutes of my time is a no-brainer. I mean, why
Yes.
wouldn't I want to help others? And if it means that then they have access to those tools and they do it on their own, I never quit you. So you can always call
Aw.
me if there's something else that you need as a follow-up. And there's no charge for that. There's no, did you want fries with that? So
But wait, there's more.
wait, there's more for the low, low price of.
4 easy payments of.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
exactly.
Well, again, I want to thank you, Emily, for coming on. And today's conversation with Emily emphasized that a clear vision, disciplined processes, and focus can transform businesses and personal lives. Contractors, designers, and homeowners can find clarity and traction. There's that word again,
Well done.
by adopting the EOS principles. To grow, explore Emily's book and free resources, and join us at the next Home Expo to meet experts like her. Subscribe, rate, and share this episode, and we'll see you at the expo March 28th and 29th in Santa Rosa. Um, Thank you again, Emily, for coming on. It was a pleasure to meet you and get to know this entrepreneurial um, whirlwind of information. And we look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you.